Francis, and a foster parent. I've been fostering for 7 years now, and I've worked with a local authority and with an independent fostering organisation. Fostering was a career change for me. I'd worked for 30 years as a teacher of the deaf before that, and I thought that some of the skills I had working with deaf young children and their families would be transferable into fostering. And I wanted a change. I wanted a change from what I was doing. I was very clear when I started that I wanted to do bridging fostering. I take the children when things go seriously wrong at home. I foster them for the time where big decisions have been made about their long-term future, and then I move them on to that future. This is very different from taking in a child and hoping they will be with you until they reach 18 and become independent. That's a very long-term process. In the time that we've been fostering, and I say we, because my husband and two of the two children I have at home are very much involved with the fostering. Of course they are. These children become part of the family. They're involved there too. So in those 7 years we have fostered 12 children. One came to us for just 4 months. 3 of them in fact stayed for 1.5 years, and the rest were sort of somewhere in between. We grieve these children terribly when they leave. Because we've loved them. I've got 12 holes in my heart. But we've moved them on to adoption, to special guardianship with birth family members, to long-term foster care, and back to birth parents. The whole range. It's always different. Whether or not we make a significant difference to these children's lives is a very difficult question to answer. Physically, yes, within weeks, good food offered, nice clothes bought, and you can see a different child. Emotionally, it's a different story. Any child who's come into care has suffered trauma. They are not like your own children. They've suffered the trauma of being removed from their family, and they suffered the trauma of whatever abuse and neglect that went on before that. And emotional trauma doesn't heal overnight. It is a long, slow process. It takes years of security, love, support, understanding, and nurture to help a child heal his emotional trauma. One becomes an expert at looking for tiny, tiny little things that tell you, tiny little baby steps that tell you there is progress. Like the 2-year-old who, when he falls over and hurts himself, finally cries. He's not spending the whole time picking his nail and trying to block his pain, because he's finally realised that in your house, his pain is important and it'll be acknowledged, and you will help him to feel better. Or the 6-year-old who arrives using the most foul and aggressive language all day long. And 1 year on, he's not using it anymore. Not because I've told him not to use it, that would be a complete and utter waste of time, but because people don't speak to him like that anymore. Or the tiny baby who startled awake every time you walked near his pram because he'd lived in domestic violence for the first few months of his life. And then one day you walk past the pram and he's relaxed enough to sleep through that. Those are the tiny little baby steps that tell you you are making a difference, but it's a long, drawn-out process. Why do I carry on fostering then is an interesting question, with the heartache of absorbing the child's trauma, the heartache of grieving the child who leaves, the lack of hard evidence of any great difference that I'm making. I don't know. We can't be sure what influence we're having on the child and what impact we're making on their life. But twee as it sounds, I know each and every one of these children has made an impact on our lives. And that really must be the reason why I carry on, because I'm not ready to give up yet.